warriors chasing gold. This game's ours, it's ours to hold. One shot left, one play to run. Make it count under the setting sun. It's game time grind. All or nothing on the line. Push through the pain. Leave it all in the rain. It's game time grind. Victory's ours to find. Victory's ours to find. It's game time grind. Victory's ours to find. Victory's ours to find. Victory's ours to find.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to a brand new episode of the Game Time Grind. I'm your host, Ali the Persian. We got Steve and Mystic up in the house. What is up, sirs? How you guys doing? How's everything been?
What's going on? What's going on? Everything is fantastic, man. Happy to be here.
I'm
Can't wait
happy.
to chop it up.
It's a party, man.
Definitely,
Anytime the three of us can get together, we know it's about to go down.
definitely. And I was joking with you, Mystic. Don't take it personal. I was just saying, I'm happy you're on time for once.
What a
You know.
hater. Oh,
However, just for the heck of it, because I like your intro music, right? Let's do it.
It's that time. Mystic in the building. Turn that on. Mystic. Mystic in the building. Turn that up. Mystic. We live, we violent. Crowd so loud, got the rival silent. Run that score up.
There you go, Mystic. I figured I'd play you some music,
hey, what a shout out. What a shout out.
Definitely. If you guys are brand new to this show, make sure you subscribe. I believe we're at 67 subscribers. We're on the road to 100. Once we hit 100 subscribers, right, then we're going to have giveaways. We're going to have a lot more stuff on the way. But please subscribe if you're brand new. Turn on the notification bell. We roll every Tuesday normally, sometimes more than just once a week. Make sure you tell your friends and everything. Make sure you hit like. Please do that for us. We'd really appreciate it. But yeah, we have a hell of a show. We're going to be talking NFL draft can't miss prospects. Prospects coming out of college to the NFL, can't miss on. Already, I can tell you based on conversations in the back that we just had, myself, Mystic, and Steve see things three different ways. We'll let you guys decide what you guys think. But yeah. How's it going, Steve? How's everything with you been?
It's going great, man. Doing as much research as possible for the show. There's a lot of pro days going on right now.
Yep, not so great pro days, by the way. Some not so great, from what I heard. But yeah, shout out to the people in the chat. Let's see. I thought I saw. Let's see who we got in here. It doesn't give me their actual screen name. It just says whatever their @ symbol is. Powerhouse. Shout out to him. Shout out to whoever Dolphin Knight is. I don't know who that idiot is. Jeez. Acts like he has a show. No, I'm just kidding. I'm messing around with you, Steve. Yeah, so shout out to you guys in the chat. Yeah, man. I heard, and Steve, you looked into it. Malachi Lemon's pro day did not look so good.
It depends on who you ask. He ran somewhere between a 4.8 and a 4.53. So I knew for a guy who measured in at 5'11", that's not the greatest 40, and then he didn't do a whole lot else outside of that. And I've even seen people who clocked it themselves where the video, now there's the lag in the video, right? But just for the video run, they clocked it at a 4.6. You're muted.
Gotta love it. I'm muted. If a guy at that size, to be honest, you got to be much faster. You have to have more speed, especially in this league. You saw the wide receiver group; they all had speed. It felt like everybody was fast. When you have a guy like that, I don't know. 4.6 does not sound very good, to be honest. Just gonna point that out. And that's all you said he really did. He didn't do some of the other drills or anything. Not really.
No, I was just looking at the list. I was trying to find it again. Here it is. They put out the official measurements and stuff. He didn't do a shuttle. He didn't do a bench. He didn't do a vert. He didn't do a cone, and he didn't do a broad. He just did his measurements, which he came in at 5'11", 194, 9-inch hands, and a 30 and 5/8 wingspan, or 30 and 5/8 arms, 73-inch wingspan, right? It was a four. They are saying his 40 was a 4.46. That is the lowest number I have seen. So there's some interesting stuff going around. Now, we had this issue last year. I don't know if you guys remember, where people were falsifying arm lengths.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm wondering if somebody put in the work on that, because everything I've seen was a 4.58 to a 4.53.
So let me ask you this: is he still first round talent for you?
For me, late first, yes. Because again, like the 40s and all that are nice, but you see the production at USC. There's some questions, but he got separation. He was hard to tackle, like all that stuff. The film matters more than what they do at their pro days.
True point. Good point. Interesting. Mm-mm-mm. Well, before we get into the nitty gritty of the can't miss players, there was some news. I don't know if you guys saw some of this. Let me bring it up and talk about it a little bit. And Steve, you might have something to say about this. New Auburn quarterback Byron Brown has gone viral on social media for his weird throwing motion at training camp. What do you think about that?
Well, I mean, he's had the same throwing motion since he got into college, and he's with the same coach, so it's not like they're gonna coach him differently. It's just now he's not at USF. Like, this is a kid who had, I believe it was 1,000 yards rushing and I believe 3,000 yards passing or something like that. Like he became one of only 4 quarterbacks to hit those stat lines at the same time.
Yeah.
Like, he's got a lot of talent, and he's being talked about as a UDFA next year, a late round pick. I won't be surprised, and I said it to you this year, right? Like, don't be surprised if come this time next year, people are talking about him like Mendoza.
Okay, so don't be surprised if people are talking about Brown like Mendoza.
Yes.
Okay.
Hot take.
That is a hot take.
I mean, is it a hot take? This was the kid who was in the Heisman Trophy race until late in the year, right? He set a stat line that I believe only Lamar Jackson and I forget who the other 2 guys were currently at the time held, right? Like, now he's at a bigger school with better weapons and brought some of the weapons that he has the familiarity with. I think people are going to be very surprised about how this kid plays.
Well, I guess for me, okay, I'm going to give you the same argument that people give about my team and my quarterback, right? He's with a bunch of 4-star, 5-star players because of where he plays. Auburn, granted, they're not the top SEC program right now. It's still an SEC team, and they still get 4-star and 5-star players there. So that being said, are you sure he's going to be the next Mendoza? Because Mendoza, from the argument that everyone told me, I think the highest star rating on that entire Indiana team was one person that had 4 stars. You know what I mean? That's what everyone told me.
All that though. USF didn't have a bunch of 4 and 5-star recruits. USF had a bunch of 3-star and 2-star recruits. And then, like, I think we had one wide receiver who was a 4-star recruit. That's why I was saying, like, he did this at USF with nothing. So you put him at Auburn with better weapons, a better defense, in my opinion. Like,
okay,
that's why I think we might be talking about Byron Brown. And like, it might be the hot take. I'm not saying like he's going to be the number 1 overall pick, but nobody was talking about Mendoza last year at all. Nobody. And then I know whereas this year he's the hot ticket, and that's what I was getting at. I don't think
so you're talking about he would come out of nowhere and
yes.
and okay, I give you that. I give you that. It's not like he's going to go on a run and win a national championship. It's not like that. It's more
no.
His name will be known by the end of this season. Everyone's going to know who he is. I get it. I get it now. Okay, all right, I'll give you that. I'm interested to see how well, or the time frame, because like not just for him, but like for Auburn's head coach. I forget his name. Your guys' former coach.
Foolish.
Yeah. Is there going to be any time that, like, is he going to be able to go straight from whatever he accomplished at University of South Florida to, hey, I'm competing for SEC championships now? Is it going to be just like one to the other, or is it going to take some time, maybe a year or two, before you see Auburn, really be the team that they can be under the head coach? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I don't have high hopes for Auburn. I guess that's what I'm saying. I don't know. What do you think? What do you think?
I think they gave expectations when he got hired, but I don't know, man. We're gonna find out. Like, if Bynum Brown plays well, I think Auburn has a shot. What do you think, Mystic?
Mystic?
I think that I'm over here hitting the wrong button. I think that. I think I'm with Ali. I'm not like Ali, like, oh man, it's getting wrong. Like, no. To Steve's point, I think it's one of those people are going to be talking about Bynum Brown because no one knew about Bynum Brown, and he had to go to a bigger school type of thing unless you knew where he came from.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to become one of those names because he's going to go to one of those bigger schools and get the exposure. I think what we need to judge this young man by is, what are you going to do now that you have the weapons? Not to say you didn't have weapons, but there's no excuse now. You're in an SEC school. You're at one of those schools that at any point in time, Auburn can put together a class or, whatever, make a run, and next thing you know, they're an SEC team, that everyone's talking about. It happens all the time with Auburn. So it wouldn't surprise me one bit if they did that. But again, to your point, Ollie, I don't know that it's going to be an instant thing.
Mm-hmm.
I could see it within 2-3 seasons. We're talking about Auburn on a consistent basis.
Yeah, I kind of think so too. I just, I guess I'm kind of thrown back about Steve's comparison with Mendoza, right? Because Mendoza was something special, right? He became like Mr. Clutch. That's what he's known for. I told you he was going to win the national championship game because he was going to be the better QB in the clutch. And that's what he was. That's what he was all season long. And he proved it against some of the best talent. He proved it against Ohio State in the Big Ten championship, right? He proved it against who was it? Alabama, right? He proved it every game he played all the way to the national championship game. And hot take saying Byron Brown is going to be the next Mendoza. I guess for me, my question is Mendoza left. I don't want to say that Cal is a horrible program, but he went from Cal to the biggest loser in all of college football, which was Indiana. No one's lost more than Indiana, and turned that place completely around and upside down and won a national championship. Right? This is a guy who was at a small program, who's now at the big boy program. I don't know if he's going to be the next Mendoza, but what I will say is that because of his environment in the school that he goes to, I think that his name will be out there. I'll give you that. You know, it'll be somebody we're going to be talking about. I just don't know if it's going to be at that level. That's where I'm at. If that makes sense.
Again, my point wasn't necessarily that he was going to become the best quarterback in the draft.
Mm-hmm.
It was more of just the guy nobody was talking about, and people were like, "Hey, this guy might have something. Y'all need to watch out." And people kind of shoving it off, like, "We don't know." I just want you to listen. This is what this kid did as a senior at USF, right? A bunch of 3-star recruits, 3,100 yards, 28 passing touchdowns, 7 interceptions. Okay, on 300 passing attempts. Then added on 150 rushing attempts for 1,000 yards and 14 touchdowns. He had he had 42 touchdowns between passing and rushing last year with 3 and 4-star recruits. What do you think he's going to do if you add more 4-star recruits and a 5-star recruit?
I'm not sure. Tell me.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, do you not expect it to be better with a better offensive line? Because USF's offensive line was a bunch of 2- and 3-star recruits, right? Like, you add a better offensive line, maybe and some different weapons, maybe a better tight end. I don't know. I have to go look and see what their tight ends are this year, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you still have his dynamic ability because he's big and he's fast and he's got a strong arm. Like I just expect him to be one of those quarterbacks that goes from like Mendoza, who nobody was talking about, maybe a later round pick, to he might be pushing a late first, early second, maybe third at the latest third round quarterback.
That's a good point. I mean, you have a good point. I understand what you're saying. I'm not sold on him just be able to go to a bigger program who may have better talent. I'm just not sold that he's going to be able to make it happen yet. I'm still wait and see on Byron Brown. We'll see what happens though. But I definitely understand your point. That's just where I'm at. Any final thoughts on that, Mystic?
No, sir.
All right. Other news. There's been some recruiting news. 4-star wide receiver Chris Harris Jr. committed to Missouri. He tells Rivals he's a 5'11", 180 pound wide receiver from Lee Summit, Missouri. He chose the Tigers over Kansas City and Oklahoma State. So that was kind of interesting. There was another guy that I'm more excited about, to be honest. John Meredith III is down to 6 schools. Of those 6, it is the Miami Hurricanes, Texas A&M, Notre Dame, Alabama, and Ohio State. This guy is 6'2", 175 pounds from Arlington, Texas. You know, Texas is one of those football states, so this kid better be good. Is the number 1 corner in the top 3 recruit on all websites. So
Nice.
We'll see what happens there. I'm excited for that. Let's see what other news. I saw some more news pop up. There was something else I saw. Did you see what PFF College posted, Mystic?
No, sir. What you got?
Indiana's wide receiver duo and that's Omar Cooper Jr. and Elijah Surratt, I believe is how it's pronounced. Is the only duo ranked inside the top 100 on the PFF Big Board.
That's crazy.
Yep. Figure I'd tell you that. I thought you'd like that one.
Well, the word is about at least Omar Cooper's. A lot of people are starting to look at him as a late first round pick.
I heard that too. Like, what are your thoughts? I think he's good. He definitely showed it, and I think he has good hands. What do you think about his speed, though? Do you think he's fast enough?
I don't think his thing is speed, because I think he makes up for his speed and what Jarvis Landry made up for his speed. I think he has like the highest missed tackle rate on the first contact. Like, if you watch his film, it's nothing but him breaking the first two tackles and getting yacked. Like, that's how you make up with not having a bunch of speed, is being a tough, hard to tackle, strong wide receiver.
Interesting. Yeah, man. I'm interested to see what happens in this draft. I really want to get into it. Last thing, March Madness is upon us, gentlemen. And I figured since we're a college football show, we might talk about March Madness. All I gotta say to this is go Duke. If you know, you know. Duke has always been a legendary school, in my opinion. I've always been a Coach K fan. And we'll see what happens. I think they have a chance to get to the Final Four again. Cinderella team. Do you guys have a Cinderella team? I have two, maybe.
I mean, I haven't fully looked at all angles of the bracket. But I mean, I guess if I'm going to take a Cinderella, I'm still going to take Miami of Ohio. They're 31 and 1.
Mm-hmm. They did lose the MAC championship game, I believe, though.
Yeah, that's why I was like they're 31 and 1. But like them still making it in there regardless. It would be cool to see them going around. I think that'd be something interesting.
Oh no, I'm sorry.
I mean, I'm not a basketball guy. Like, that's no secret. I'm not even gonna pretend to know. But I'll put my homer take out there. I know a certain South Florida team that's number 1 in the East going into March Madness. So,
well, that South Florida team, very interesting. I don't know if I can consider my first team, the team that I was going to mention, a Cinderella team, but they've just had a really good last half of the season. The Big Ten tournament was really nice. Could Ohio State make a run? That's my question. And a lot of people are probably asking me, dude, aren't you an Ohio State fan? Why do you have a Duke tattoo? I'm an Ohio State football fan, yes, through and through. No one will change my mind. But when it comes to basketball, I got to admit, real is real. And Duke, for the better part of my youth, Duke was real. And it still is real. They still are real. And they have some of the best talent, some of the best NBA prospects ever came out of Duke. And Coach K, to me, will always be the all-time greatest college basketball coach of all time for me. And the best, and I'll even say this, best Team USA coach of all time also. So, that's what I got to say about Duke.
I do think that there's a possibility that Ohio State makes a run, but it's
they got to go. I don't know how it's going to happen.
So I gotta look at this bracket situation and kind of see more. And actually, you know what? We got a minute. I got ESPN right here. I'm gonna take a second and just pull up the bracket here. Since we're talking a Big Ten, I guess I'm gonna be a homer. And
Northern Iowa, is that who you're talking about?
Northern Iowa, they're playing St. John's right out the bat, and St. John's is playing killer basketball. Patino's got them ready to go.
Yeah.
What I find very interesting is I pegged 3 teams, 2 teams to watch to be top seeds in the tournament, and one of them, the 1-2 were kind of flipped on how I thought it was going to turn out, really. But I pegged to watch Florida to start the season. They turned into a 1 seed. That I thought they were going to be the 2 seed, and then ISU, who has all the talent, great team. I had anticipated them to be the one, which they were about 2-3 weeks ago. Have their little moment, but they fell to a 2 seed. Those two, I totally expect to have their moments, but what's that famous line? Not so fast, my friend. I think there's an opportunity in the second round here for Florida. If they don't take care of business, they could find themselves in a battle. I pegged the Iowa Hawkeyes under Ben McCollum to start this season as a team to watch, to make the tournament, and to really put a thorn in people's side. Bennett Sturts, in my opinion, is one of the best guards in all of college basketball. That dude plays every minute, offense and defense, and literally wills the team that is Iowa to what they are. Dude makes big shot after big shot. One of those, you're a D2 guy, you're a D3 guy. You'll never be a D1 athlete, and then goes to the D1, and all of his numbers, they went up. Since he came to Iowa this year from being D2 last year, everything he's gotten better. So really, really cool story, something to watch. But again, they got a tough battle themselves right out the bat against Clemson. But if we get a Florida Iowa battle in the second round, man, it's going to be good basketball. That's what I know. It's going to be real good basketball.
It definitely is, man. It's March Madness is exciting, bro, because you never know what's going to happen. And every year there's that one team that comes out of nowhere and goes on a run. And it's almost like a Cinderella story. So for me, it's going to be very interesting. Final takes on March Madness. Who wins the whole thing? Mystic, you go first.
Oh man, see, I haven't even got down to that.
Wild game. Throw a dart in the air and see what happens, where it lands.
As much as I hate to say it, the way I've watched when I've been able to watch college basketball, it wouldn't surprise me one bit if Duke won it all.
Okay, you took my thunder. I'm taking Duke all the way myself. Go ahead. What's your thoughts, Steve? I know you don't know basketball, but go ahead and just throw it out.
I have no dice in this game.
Take your homer team.
That's what I was gonna say. I'm gonna stick with my homer team, number 1 in the East, baby. Let's go.
Yeah, and watch that guy go all the way. That'd be funny. That would be funny. All right. I just figured we'd talk about March Madness. Happy St. Patty's Day before I forget. I'm not wearing my green right now. I'm wearing Miami Dolphins because we had a big trade today. We're going to talk about some of those prospects that could end up at Miami. But let's get this party started, man. Let's talk about the can't miss prospects in this draft. I'm going to go ahead and start. I have a whole list of people. I'm not going to go in any order of who's going first versus the other. These are just guys that I think you can't miss on, in my opinion. The first guy I'm going to go with, I'm going to start off, is defensive tackle Peter Woods, right? Renowned for his 700-pound squat and 4.75 second 40-yard dash, Woods ranks among college football's most explosive linemen. Analysts describe his first step violence. He has first step violence. That means from the very beginning of when the snap takes off, he brings violence. I love that. And rare hip flexibility as a defining trait. Though evaluators note occasional inconsistencies in gap discipline, scouting reports project him as a disruptive 3-technique defender suited to an aggressive 4-man front. So if you're looking for organic pressure or a team that wants to bring the pressure altogether, this is your guy. What do you guys think?
I love it. This is one of the guys that I talked about, in one of our earlier shows here a couple weeks ago, and the dude is a freak. He is a freak of nature when it comes to getting that man in the weight room. He is an absolute specimen. There's been People are whispering around shades of Aaron Donald when
Mhm.
it comes to his athleticism. They're very, what's the word? Intrigued by the guy. I do know that I think we talked about it. He has moments where, I mean, he's so good and so fast that he almost takes himself out of place. So it's just going to be getting that good landing in a good environment to get
Mhm.
that good curve to his talent, and the dude's going to be an absolute force. I would have I said it when we talked about him earlier. Again, I'd love to have this guy.
Look,
I don't think he's going to be a problem, man.
absolutely. I think he's going to be a problem. Look, and you guys know, I've talked about it. I've talked about it in the X spaces and stuff. I have said that this team needs to bring back physicality, right? We need to bring back violence. And the whole last couple of shows, I was talking about violent instincts. I always brought up violence, right? That's what this guy
100%.
brings. And if any team you're looking for physicality, violence, someone's going to get hurt, this is a guy I think you can bring. And for me, I can't miss on that. I'm never going to miss on physicality. I'm always going to take those type of players. What do you think, Steve?
I think Peter Wood is the best defensive tackle in this class. So I think it putting him on the list makes absolute sense. Like you said, he brings the physicality, he has the strength, he has the mentality. Yeah, I mean, uh, for me, like it's so hard because for like it comes down to question marks and stuff like that. Like I was telling you earlier,
Mm-hmm.
this is one of those guys I had thought about putting on my list because I could see that, but defensive tackle is such a hard thing to project because a lot of these guys get used to playing with raw physicality and strength at the college level, and you can't just do that at the NFL level. So we'll see how that transitions, but that's a good name.
Definitely, definitely. Who wants to go next?
Go ahead, Steve.
All right, I'm gonna steal the. I'm gonna be the thief today. The number one guy for me, and he's become the number one guy for me in this whole draft. Like you can't. I'm gonna name him a can't miss because if he turns into a miss or a bust, it is gonna be talked about for generations. Sonny Styles, 6'5", 244, runs a 4.4, a 4.3 and a half vert, a 43 and a half vert, a zero missed tackle rate during the regular college season. Like, and you can see why down and gritty attacks whoever has the ball. He's always around the ball, has the ability to play trench warfare at the line of scrimmage while also dropping into the coverage with his athletic ability. Like wherever Sonny Styles goes, I think we're going to be talking about him for a very long time.
I cannot disagree more. Sonny Styles is an American football linebacker, NFL prospect who played for Ohio State. A lot of people don't know this. He transitioned actually from safety to linebacker. Not a lot of people know that. And he has been one of the best prospects, not just in this combine and offseason, but in all of football last year, watching him in games, bro. You said it yourself, having a 100% tackle rate at one point. The guy is a freak athlete who comes from a freak athlete family. All right. It's not just him. His brother, who's in the same draft, Lorenzo Styles, may not be the first round pick. He's a later round kind of guy, but that kid can run. That kid has some speed, right? And then if you have, and I said this in the last show, if you saw their father standing in between him and his brother, holy shit, his dad looks like he's trying out to be the world's strongest man. That guy has some arms. I've never seen them so big. I mean, freak athlete coming from a freak athlete family. Yeah, I like this kid. He doesn't just have the athleticism, he has the football IQ, the mentality. There's not a, in my opinion, he's so good. You could technically put him in different teams. There's not just certain teams he fits best with. I think you could put him in every team in the NFL, right? You can put him in Miami. You could put him in Green Bay, Dallas, New England. Doesn't matter the team. The Colts. they'd find a way to use this kid. And if he ends up being a bust, holy shit. And it wasn't just me saying this much about the kid. Everybody's been talking about him. He's been the talk of the draft. That's a kid that I can't miss on, and I'm not gonna bet against it. I'm betting for it actually that he ends up being a real thing. So that's where I'm at. What do you think, Mystic?
You know, I feel like maybe the label this label that we talk about with another person that I'll probably get to here in a little bit. Maybe that label was misplaced, or maybe this is the guy that's generational. And I say that because you can, like you just said, you kind of took a little what I was going to say. Dang it, you can put this guy in any team. You could take this dude and say, I'm going to build my defense around Sonny Styles. He's going to do things that gives me flexibility inside and out. He's going to read the defense. He's going to hit the holes. He's going to stop the run. He's going to drop into coverage. Like, he's going to be able to cover guys out of the backfield. Like, it's everything you want when you're building a defense, to have a guy in the middle that can say, go do this and take care of it. Go take care of these 4 things for me to make these guys' jobs easier. That's Sonny Styles. And I think we maybe we misused that label. Maybe Sonny Styles was really that guy.
Yeah. I agree. Maybe he is the generational guy. There's another Ohio State prospect that I think is the generational guy, but maybe he's that generational guy. We'll see. We'll definitely see. Steve, since you threw him out there, any final thoughts on Sonny Styles?
Nope, that's it.
Okay. All right, sounds good. I mean, even the kid himself is named after a famous character from The Godfather. How cool is that? To say, yeah, I was named after a character in The Godfather. I think that's freaking cool. So, yeah, I'm taking Sonny Styles. It's your turn. Who are you going to throw out? We already know you got your Homer takes, but that's okay. That's okay.
Yeah, it's Homer time. It's Homer time. And I guess I could go either way, because I do have both of them I'm going to talk about. I think we'll see. I got a list. We'll just see who I pluck, right? When you talk about some of the highest paid offensive linemen in football, they come from the University of Iowa, and you have another 2, possibly 3 coming out. And 2 of them for sure I know are going to be just But one of them, everyone's hating on him because the man's hair just doesn't want people white. Well, that's just too damn bad, because Jennings Dunker is that guy. Jennings Dunker, again, is a cornerstone piece that you can put on that line. He don't got to be a right tackle. You can put him at right guard. Say, hey, you're going to be my right guard for the next foreseeable future, and he's going to turn into every bit what you want him to be. I fully expect him to be. In my opinion, I think he turns into an all-pro offensive lineman. That's just what you see these guys do, man. Again, look at the contract that Lindenbaum just got, and look at the contract that Wirfs got when he got his second contract. Like, these dudes, they come in, they do the dirty work, they take care of business, they get paid.
Well, I'm going to tell you right now, we're talking about a guy that 6'5", up to like 320 pounds. This guy is the All-American. How do I say this? He's like one of those cliche American players. And what I mean by that, he has, red, white, and blue all over this kid. What can I say about him? His scouting reports describe Dunker as a powerful run blocker with exceptional grip, strength, and leverage. He excels in the gap, in duo schemes, driving defenders off the ball, and finishing plays with intensity. While his length and lateral quickness suggest a move inside to guard at the professional level, evaluators project him as a high floor prospect who could develop into a long-term NFL starter. Just looking at the guy, not even looking at the tape, this guy looks like a real deal. I mean, the mullet, the tattoos, the arms. Yeah, bring me dunkers, any team. I think you could definitely make a man. I'm sorry, make a hell of a player out of him. I would definitely take him in a heartbeat too. For a lot of teams, this is a can't miss player. What do you think, Steve? Anything you got to say about dunkers as well?
I think we should put him in black and give him some wrestling ring entrance music. And remember, the last guy with a red mullet was the goddamn Undertaker. This dude is. I heard somebody, and it's weird to say it this way about another grown man, but I heard somebody refer to him as trying to deal with a kicking stallion because that's just the truth. This dude is a monster in the run game. He's hell of a damn good pass blocker. I know the concerns about his length, and then we go into the questions of the tackle from he was Michigan, right? That went to the Patriots that struggled this year, right? Like we worry about length of arm, but even if the can't miss is him moving inside and he's your future guard, absolutely. I get it. Again, like I have my concerns because of length, so that's why he didn't make my list. But yeah,
Did you say he didn't make your list?
Yeah, he didn't make my list.
Yeah,
Yeah, like
I'm not happy about that. He was on my list for sure. I only left him for Mystic because he's Mr. Iowa. I left him to talk about him, but he's definitely on my list. I agree with you. He might come in the league at guard at first, but he's one of those guys that he is athletic enough. He's big enough. He has the skills that I think that he could move out to the outside and play tackle from time to time as well if needed. I just think he has the grit, the strength, the swag, and everything to be very successful in this league. So we'll see what happens. All right. Who's next? I guess that would be me. Back to me again.
Yep.
Yes, I have no final thoughts, and it's on to you.
Okay, so I am going to say for my next can't miss player. You know what? I'm gonna go with my gut instinct. Anthony Hill Jr. I will watch the tape on this guy. If you guys remember, he was one of my top prospects going into the combine before even the combine happened. And he really showed out in the combine. And overall, I think that this guy is a can't miss player, to be honest. So if, a little bit about him, just so you know, if you don't know, he played for Texas, 6'3", 238 pounds. His scouting reports describe Hill as a rare blend of size, range, explosiveness. He thrives as a downhill blitzer and sideline to sideline defender who can also drop in coverage. Analyst notes his leadership, football IQ, and the ability to impact every defensive phase, which I really love about him. His athletic profile draws comparisons to linebackers like Jamie Collins or Jamin Davis, and more. Overall, I think this kid is a hell of a tackler. If you watch, the way he plays, when he gets his hand on you, you're going down. That's what it basically comes down to. Very athletic. I want to say he had a really fast 40, if I remember, at the combine. I'm going with Anthony Hill Jr. That's who I like. I can't miss on it. Granted, I know some people might look at this list as who would you take as your number one overall pick. That's not really what I'm doing. I'm going with this list that if it's, if I'm on the clock and he was the best player, he can't miss for me. I can't miss on that. I think he's going to be really good.
I agree. I'm with you there. I didn't get him on my list, obviously, but no, I agree entirely, though.
Hey, man, the audience doesn't like it, bro. It's not my bad you have bad takes.
You're done. You're done. Someone's going back. We gotta take this man's power away. Come on.
I'll stop. I'm sorry. I'm so much fun with it. Go ahead, Mystic. I'm sorry.
Absolutely. I mean, honestly, if I'd throw him on the list, right now, like he's absolutely one of those guys. Every bit of the player that you want at that position. Again, you're looking to better your team. That's a guy you want to definitely you're running up to the podium for.
Yeah, I mean, look, if we're in the second round and he's there, because a lot of people kind of have him as a late first round. I didn't think he would be a first round pick, but I think because of how well he did at the combine, I think he rose up a bit. But to be 100% honest, if he's there on the board and it's second round, as a Miami Dolphin, I'm not going to be mad at it. I would take it. I'd be like, hell yeah, give me Anthony Hill. I would. So that's where I'm at. Go ahead, Steve. What were your thoughts on Anthony Hill?
Anthony Hill's the only issues with him are coachable. His eyes get him in trouble. He fights on play action. He overruns run sets sometimes. That's all coachable. He has the athleticism. He has the he has a decent sized body at 6'2", 238. He could put a little more weight on. Like, I like him. A late first in this draft with these linebackers, I don't know if he falls quite there. I think he ends up as a late second round, early third round pick as a day 2 guy.
So what you're saying to me, Steve, is there's a chance. There's a chance, is what you're telling me.
Of course there's a chance.
Okay. All right. I don't have him as a first round pick. I said he would be a day 2 guy. That's what I said in our show when I talked about him before. I thought he could be a day 2 guy in the right situation. I just think athletically it makes definitely sense. I love the way he tackles. And absolutely great call out on you, Steve, saying that the issues with him are all coachable. It's not like he has like an athletic problem where no matter what he's going to do, he's not going to be able to, perform in a certain way. So I really appreciate that take. So good take. Who's next? Steve, I guess it's your turn.
All right. Let me reach into your guys' bag one more time and pull out my can't miss tackle. Francis Mauigoa, 6'6", 329. Jaw clamps, like pincers, like crab pincers for hands. Once he gets his hands on you, it's over. Man, people keep talking about trying to move this guy in the guard, and I think it's just so disrespectful. Like, he has enough length in his arms. He has big enough hands. He's like moving at 6'6", 329 and running a 5'3" is insane for that size. Like, the dude's just a freak. You want to talk about a guy who's just gotten better at every single year, and that's what we look at. Like, he's not just winning with raw strength. His footwork is there. His technique is there. The way he attacks the pads is there. Like, you want to talk about a can't miss tackle? That was my can't miss tackle. Francis Mauigoa.
Okay. Not bad. What are your thoughts, Mystic?
Who? No, I'm just kidding. No, absolutely. I think I don't know what people are trying to do by disrespecting this guy, saying he needs to go to guard, but that's wild to me. But again, cool. Go ahead and tell me you're going to put Francis at guard, and tell me he's not going to be one of those long-term starters of that position. Like, holy smokes! This is an offensive lineman who's going to do again everything you need him to do. You need to put him on an island. He's going to handle that island. Like, this guy's an absolute force. If you need to rebuild your offensive line, I'm doing that yesterday.
I agree. Mauigoa immediately started at right tackle as a true freshman. He anchored the Hurricanes line in rare agility and strength. By his junior year, he had allowed virtually no sacks in over 500 pass blocking snaps, helping Miami reach the college football playoff national championship game. His leadership, his durability, everything. I agree. This guy is practically one of the top, actually the top offensive lineman in this draft. Yeah, I like it. I definitely think you can't miss on it. The guy's 6'6", 315 pounds. My question about his weight though is that 315 pounds, is that the size you want for a right or left tackle?
Well, he's actually 329.
He's what? I'm sorry?
329.
Okay. Because what site I'm looking at has him at 315 pounds. So
Yeah, I'm pretty sure at the combine he came in at, and
Okay.
it might be, maybe I'm just remembering it differently, but I'm at 6'6". That's not that bad. Like, you got to think about the size increment. You know what I mean?
Now, the reason I asked about the size was only because the fact that I think 320, somewhere around the 320s, 325, somewhere around there is the right size for you. And from being at 315, I was like, okay, it's not that big of a deal to gain like 5-10 pounds at the very most. You know what I mean? It wouldn't be that big of a deal. So that's why I was kind of seeing what you guys thought about his size at all. So, final thoughts on your guy, Steve.
Miami, don't fuck this up.
Not the first guy I'm going for. Sorry, Steve. But yeah, I definitely hear what you're saying. All right. I guess Mystic, your turn. What other Iowa player are you going to throw out?
You know, how dare you? That's so rude. Boo yourself. No. What I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna go a different route. I am
Holy
going. You're done. You're done.
By the way, if you were in Northwest Ohio, actually, I'm sorry, Northeast Ohio today, that was the sound you heard. Did you guys hear about this? What happened in Ohio today? You guys haven't heard the news? Holy shit. So Northeast Ohio got hit with a meteor that was 17 tons, 17,000-pound meteor. The entire area, including parts of Pittsburgh, all the way down to Cincinnati, felt and heard the bang and rumbles.
Wow.
They thought we got hit with a ballistic missile or something. So
that's incredible.
Yeah. So 17,000 pounds, dude. Ridiculous.
I'll be looking into that after the show.
Is it a real meteor or is it a Joe Dirt meteor? This is what I need to know.
From my understanding, it's a real meteor. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I just heard about it. Actually, I didn't even find out about it until one of my coworkers mentioned it to me, and I'm like, "Are you serious?" So I Google searched it. It legitimately happened today. No joke.
That's wild.
Yeah. Go ahead. I didn't mean to.
No, you're fine, man. That's crazy. In the in the news today, right? I have felt very strongly about this guy. I know you guys are definitely going to have some pushback.
Okay.
I don't think it's necessarily the right move for our team, and it probably might not be the right fit for every team. But maybe maybe it is the right fit for your team. You just never know. Jeremiah Love, running back, Notre Dame. I feel like if you want to rebuild a young offense, if you have a good young quarterback, you need to take some pressure off his plate and give him a guy you can hand the ball to, 15 times a game, pass it to him another 5-6 times out of the backfield, like 20 touch a game type of guy. He could be a 3-down back if you need, like just an absolute offensive piece when you need it. And there's offensive minds in this league that can use this chess piece and do some crazy things with him. So, again, if you need something for your offense, I'm looking at Jeremiah Love.
Well, I definitely like, the thought process on that. In fact, here's some sound effects for him. So I'll jump on this train with you. Jeremiah Love, I think, brings a lot, Mystic. In fact, let me pull up my notes that I wrote about him. I wrote a whole thing about what I think about him. So Jeremiah Love, 6 foot, 214. Actually, I think he's a little bit bigger than that, but they have him at 214 pounds. Overall, they compare him to, Travis Etienne for this 3-star down versatility, former state sprint champion. He combines a sprinter speed, balance, and vision. And that's the one thing I love about him. I'm not the biggest Jeremiah Love fan, but out of the running backs, I want to say with his vision combined with his speed and his balance, I think he's the most balanced running back in this draft, to be honest. His trademark leap popularized his in television highlights has become symbolic. This kid is really good. Overall, I think it's a can't miss at running back. There's only one other running back I think you can't miss on in this draft, which I may bring up later. But yeah, I like it. I understand he definitely deserves to be on the list. Top running back of this draft. Go ahead, Steve.
Yeah, I mean, elusive, fast, strong, right size, right build, right mentality. I mean, this guy and his dad made a comic book about himself being a superhero. Like, he has the mentality of wanting to be that guy. So,
Yeah.
I mean, again, I'm not a fan of him as a first rounder just because,
Mhm.
I think people over project running backs sometimes. But as a prospect and you're getting a running back, he's going to be the best running back in your room more than likely than not.
Very good point. Very good point. Final thoughts on that, Mystic?
No, sir.
All right. Who's next? Are we back to me, maybe?
Yep.
We sure are.
Okay. I am gonna go. I think I'm gonna go to a position group we haven't talked about yet. And this guy, I know he was injured, but I think if he becomes healthy and can stay healthy, I think he's a can't miss kind of guy. Jordan Tyson, 6'2", around 200 pounds, give or take. Went to Arizona State University. Tyson, what can I say about him? He's one of the best contested catchers I've seen. Had let me kind of give you an idea about he had 2,000 career receiving yards in fewer than 30 games, right? So 2,000 career receiving yards in fewer than 30 games. He's honestly the number 4 overall wide receiver in this prospect. I'm sorry, in this draft, but I honestly think that he's closer to be top 3, to be honest, than being top 4. To kind of give you an idea, he's a protege of former NFL receiver Hines Ward. So he's been coached by Hines Ward, who I would argue was one of the best receivers in the NFL. Tyson is praised for his route deception, ball tracking, competitive blocking. Coach cites his professionalism. He's definitely a true-born leader. I think this guy can really catch. He has very good hands. He can be explosive. He has breakaway speed, in the open areas. I just like what I saw on tape. I think if he can stay healthy, I think it's a can't miss guy, and that's why he's on my list. What do you guys think?
I'm with you. I think, again, to your point, if dude can stay healthy, I've pegged this guy as kind of a Brandon Ayuk type of guy before the Divas stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Brandon Ayuk who is, earning that contract extension, making big plays, crazy yak. Like, there's just been something crazy here recently. You've had these guys coming out of Arizona State every so often, and there's some big playmaking wide receivers for sure. It's just the question is, can they stay healthy? So again, I hope the dude can get that figured out because he's very fun to watch when he's on the field.
Absolutely. What do you think, Steve?
I think for me, this guy is you're drafting him and hoping that coin lands on head, right? we've seen it. The Mike Evans, the Devontae Parkers, them hamstrings, once they start becoming a problem, they generally don't go away. Sometimes you can get lucky and they figure out with the NFL and their nutrition, they figure out, hey, you were just eating too much McDonald's cheeseburgers and you had an affinity for Dairy Queen ice cream one too many times in the week, right? So and it is true. Like it happens. Like we saw that firsthand with Devontae Parker. That man was living in the Mickey D's drive-through, and his body paid the price for it. So, like for me, if they figure out the body and understand the hamstring's just a dietary thing,
Mhm.
you're talking about the best wide receiver in this draft. Like hands down, route running, catch radius, speed. Because I do think he's faster than what people think he is.
Oh yeah.
Like I don't he's strong, he has the frame, he can do 50-50, but he's explosive and can create separation on the deep quarters of the field. Like you got a guy with a cannon, he's gonna love this kid. And I saw some comparisons to Jackson Smith and Jigba, like, and I understand why he's not as fast, but his elusiveness and the way he runs his routes, he's gonna get open. So yeah, like I like the kid. I just man, them hamstrings worry me.
Yeah, that's the only issue. He has to stay healthy. He has to get his body in the right shape to be able to do it. And I think if he can do that, bro, it's a can't miss player. He has all the talent. He has. I would argue also that he has the speed that people don't give him credit for, and he has some of the best hands. And I mean, the tape don't lie, man. The guy can really get it done. Let me ask you guys this, since he's a protege of Hines Ward. You know what Hines Ward was famous of doing? And it's something no one really talks about. You know what he did while he played the game?
Mm-mm.
If you watch almost in every highlight, he's always smiling when catching the ball. It didn't matter the highlight. I just remember seeing him smile like, oh, this is so easy. No tough, I can just get it done. I'm just saying that I thought that was very interesting about Hines Ward. I know it had nothing really to do with the game, but the fact that he was always smiling playing the game, I'll never forget that. Yeah, that's my dude. Who's next? Steve, you want to go?
Yeah. I'll leave the third guy to you, Ali, because you're gonna be able to give more of a better analysis than I would. So
I don't know about that. I don't know if it's who I think it is. No, bro, you've been championing that train. I'll give it to you. Because my third guy, I really want to talk about, and he's not an Ohio State player. So
okay, well, I have two, and they're both from the same position.
okay,
So I'll go with the one that I'm just gonna do, and then I'll leave the other one for last. But I'm gonna go Dylan Theinman, the safety from Oregon.
Yeah.
Speed, size, hit, everything. Like the only thing you can knock the kid for is stuff that like you can coach out of him. Like it's stuff where like in play action he'll get himself trapped sometimes, right? He'll linger way too much on the quarterback and not see everything. It's coaching stuff. Yeah, like rare speed. We got ourselves another white lightning here, guys. Like this kid, I think is going to be really good in the NFL.
Yeah, I mean, he's recognized for his versatility, capable of playing deep safety in the box or in coverage. Scouts highlight his vision, field vision, tackling consistency, ball hawking, his instincts altogether. I think it's really good. And I think it'll be definitely translate to the NFL very well. I can't agree even more on that. 6 foot, he's like what, 205 pounds, I think?
Yes.
Yeah, and I'll give him credit for this. He may not have played for Indiana, but he's an Indiana boy. He's from Westfield, Indiana. Very interesting. And he had Big Ten Freshman of the Year award, an AP All American in 2023. So, shout out to Dylan Theinman. What do you think, Mystic? What are your thoughts on Dylan?
I'm pretty sure it's Dylan Thieneman.
Is it
Oh, okay, I'm
Thieneman?
sorry. I said it wrong. I said Thieneman, but it's
I
Thieneman.
thought
I
it
think
was
you're right.
Thieneman.
I apologize.
No,
I
no, no.
don't
You
have a
chill.
linguistics
The
degree.
only
I'm sorry.
reason why I know, that was one of the guys on the list when we were doing our breakdowns for positions, and
Uh-huh.
I purposely Googled how to say his name because I was like, I'm not about to cut this one up.
Oh, I gotcha. Yeah, yeah.
So
I'm
yeah,
not
it
very
just
good at
that
names,
one
man.
just
I'm
like
sorry.
it just burnt into my skull. But no, yeah. If you're talking about a high football IQ safety who is going to make some plays, yeah, he's going to have his learning moments for sure. You know, I think who doesn't, right? When it comes to football, if you're trying to play at the highest level.
Mhm.
But if you're looking at all the intangibles and his ability to read and react, I think this dude has the chance to be special. I really do. Very. I guess he has a very under the radar feeling to him. I guess if you will, like not that he is under the radar, but he just kind of feels like just one of those players that you don't have to. You don't have to put a lot into, I guess, if you will. You know, you'll be able to coach him up. You're not gonna have to like give him that extra bit of what what am I? What's the word I'm looking for? Oh my goodness. Like, I literally lost the damn word, but basically, like, they're just gonna come and do their job. They have no other reason to do it. Just they love what they're doing. They're not a diva, if you will. I've heard all sorts of good things when I look it up. And again, if you look at the tape, the tape matches what you see. It's one of those, you like to see it on both sides, right?
Yeah, definitely. I think overall it's a good prospect. Definitely, definitely rightfully on this list. Um, there's only one other safety, which we'll talk about later, that I think would be better than him, coming off the board. That high. Um, it'll be very interesting. Final thoughts on your safety, Steve.
Nope.
All right, I think we're back to Mystic. I could be wrong.
Yes, I do believe we are.
Back to Mystic.
I'm gonna go back on my Homer shit. Oh, back to another Joe Moore Award winner, Logan Jones.
Mm.
You could put him at center long term. You could put him at left guard. You could put him at right guard. Again, the dude's gonna do everything you need him to do. I think his center of balance in itself, and his shiftiness, just you saw at the combine, again matches everything you see if you go turn on the Iowa tape this year. And again, the dude can play center. He understands the protections and have how to communicate it through his linemen to make sure they're all in the right place, doing the right thing at the right time. Definitely not a thing you're going to miss on there with that.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. You're definitely not going to miss. Logan Jones, he's what, 6'3", 300 pounds, 302 pounds, somewhere around there. I could
Yes.
be wrong. He's at one of the best athletic centers, to be honest. Elite athleticism, I'll say. Can pull, reach, block, climb onto linebackers quickly. He's one of the fastest interior offensive lineman prospects in the class. His pass protection allowed very few sacks across multiple seasons. Stackable base and quick feet. That's what I'm reading. I hear his football IQ is very high. The weakness, though, that I've heard is he has limited positional versatility, depending on what you think. I know he can play the inside pretty well, but I don't think he can play more than that. Some people say that he has size or length concerns. I don't think so. I think this guy was one of the best centers in all of college football, in my opinion. So, what do you think, Steve?
I saw the message from CCRR. I disagree. He is 6'3", 300 pounds. He's a slight short for what you would want a guard to be, but he has the weight and he has the strength. I think you could play him at all three interior positions.
Mhm.
The guy is good. Now I'm not saying that like you're gonna get this guy and he's gonna be your best guard day one, but like from an overall prospect, the guy who's probably gonna go in the mid to late rounds, you could put him at any one of your three interior positions and you're pretty happy.
Yeah. I agree. What do you think, Mystic? Final
I think
thoughts?
he's a boss. I think he's a boss, and if he's there in we'll say one of the 4 third-round picks, then we're pulling the trigger, and he's going to be replacing Brewer. That's all I know. So.
Ooh, replacing Brewer.
Maybe not this season, but we're working for next season. He'll play one of the guards. He'll compete with Jonah, take Jonah's spot for this season. Oh,
I'll tell you this. I will tell you this. Since you're speaking about the Miami Dolphins, just real quick, I'll just comment on this. I do expect us to draft an offensive lineman from the Big Ten. I will say that. I don't know when it'll be. It could be in the later rounds or whatever. But I do expect us to go after an offensive lineman from the Big Ten specifically. And the reason for that is I think being the fact where Sully is, they're very well connected to that Wisconsin area, and they can see the players and the different teams that come through that area are primarily Big Ten teams because that's where Wisconsin's out of the Big Ten. I think he's very familiar. And I think you might see players from there drafted, not in all skill positions. No, because he definitely evaluated here in the Southeast and stuff. But I do think being the fact that he was in that state for so long, I'm sure he's familiar with the programs and the type of offensive line the Big Ten brings. If you know what I mean, Mystic, because you're a Big Ten guy, you know what I'm talking about, right?
100%.
I know people say that the SEC is the best conference because they're the best athletically, they have the top talent or whatever. Big Ten has a lot of hella talent, almost as much as the SEC. But I will argue, in my opinion, I think the more physical, the more complete prospects at offensive line come from the Big Ten. That's what I will say. That's my thoughts, my 2 cents.
Hey, Miss Vic, I don't know if you want to answer this one or not. Tony asked, how's his run blocking?
I did answer it. Maybe I just didn't put to Tony. He's great at both. I mean, again, I think we forget that whole line at Iowa won the Joe Moore Award. Like, they were the best offensive line at all things, all stages, not just great pass blocking, not just great run. Like, they did it all, man. And Iowa's a run first team. So I tell you, that dude will move people. And if I remember right, you probably go find some tape where the dude gets to the second level quite a bit. Him and Dunker find a way to get to that second level and really cause problems in the run game.
What's up, Lewis? How you doing, sir?
What's going on, Lou?
What's up, Tony? Shout out to the Blitz Pickup. Check them out if you get a chance. Anyone watching at home, make sure you check out the Blitz Pickup. Hell of a last couple of shows have been really, really good. So who's next? I think Mystic, you just went, so it's back to me again.
Yep.
I do believe so.
I am not throwing out the last person you had, Steve. I knew you thought I would do that. I'm not. I want to comment on it, but I don't want to. Everyone's going to think I have a biased take, so I'm going to wait on that person. The guy I'm going to throw out, look, our team has a need for edge, and I'm not throwing him out just for our team, but anyone needing edge, I like this guy. I think when it's said and done, I think he's going to be one of the better edges in this draft. David Bailey, Texas Tech Raider, right? David Bailey is an American college defensive end or edge player. He's 6'3", 250 pounds, I want to say. David Bailey had 14 and a half sacks, 3 forced fumbles, 32 solo tackles just in 2025. His combination of size, burst off the edge, discipline, pursuit has made him to be one of the most versatile fits in any hybrid defense. Even analysts say that they've highlighted his motor and technique as assets that are, going to attract any NFL team, to be honest. I think, you look at him and the way he attacks players, overall, I think he's definitely a can't miss kind of guy. In my opinion, he was definitely a top 10 player in this draft. And for me, I'm gonna go David Bailey. What do you think, Steve?
I mean, I think those 15 sacks speak for themselves. Explosive first step, nice bend, doesn't let his hips get away from him when he's attacking a guard underneath. Wraps up when he doesn't just try to tackle. He tries to run through the quarterback while he's tackling. I think he struggles against power, a very powerful tackle, but he makes up for it with his explosiveness and his ability to finish on any given play. He doesn't give up. The motor's always running. The wheels are always turning. So yeah, I mean, he's being talked about possibly being the first edge taken off the board if Reese doesn't go before him. So you've seen it. There's a reason why they made it as far as they did, and I think he was a big part of it.
Yeah, I liked him. In fact, I would argue that David Bailey is more of a pure edge than even Arvell Reese is. Arvell Reese he's a athletic freak that had such a good season. It's kind of hard to gauge really what he is. Some people ask him, are you more of an inside kind of guy? Are you an edge player? Like, where do you fit? And he basically kind of gave an answer like, I'll go wherever I need to be, but I think I can play edge. And, he said something to that effect, right? Watching him in the season, he's good. Don't get me wrong. But I think if I'm looking at a can't miss, I know what I'm getting out of a guy. I'm going to go David Bailey. That's what I'm going. What do you think, Mystic? What are your thoughts?
I think it's one of the safer picks, probably on the top end of the draft.
Yeah.
Again, there's not really a whole lot of question to the guy. It's literally like you need an edge presence. You plug him in, you're going to get that. You're going to get that edge presence. I like what I see from the kid. I think there's another guy on that defense too who's a can't miss. Personally, but yeah, I mean, you see why Texas Tech was so damn good. They had talent all over that roster, and again, he was a huge part of the success.
Absolutely. I think he's going to be hella talent, and I'm kind of excited to see what happens. I'm really excited for some of these position groups to see how it ends up. But go ahead, Steve. I think we're back to you now with your last person.
Correct.
Yeah, this is where two of our watchers decide to exit the room more than likely. The can't miss of the can't misses. Mr. Undeniable, Caleb Downs, 6', 206, can play every spot from free safety to strong safety, play in the box, slot, special teams, kick returns, run it. He's gonna run a 4-4 whenever he decides to run. Yeah, Tony, I knew that boo was coming. Hits like a truck, smart player, always around the ball, has a nose for the football. If you have a safe player you want to take, and it is a safe pick that you absolutely need a safety or a box safety, a free safety, whatever, right? Like your team needs that, and you just need that guy. He's the safe pick for me. Like he is. I think that's why some people I think are starting to kick back at him being this great, unstoppable, whatever name you want to put on it, generational, whatever. I think people are starting to get prospect fatigue from people talking about him being the safe guy. He's just that good.
I can't agree more. Look, he is that good. He is the safest bet out of like some of these safety, some of the cornerbacks and safety position in my opinion. He gets the job done. That's basically what it comes down to. I don't want to argue about is he generational, is he not, is he elite or not. All that kind of stuff is debatable across the board for any player, to be honest. But for me, this guy definitely can play all of those positions. He can even play corner, I will argue, at a very high level, right? That's the one position you didn't talk about. You talked about the slot. You talked about nickel, safety. I think he can do it all, to be honest. And when he hits you, it's like the cop chasing you because, to be honest, he doesn't stop running. He will come after you and he'll make sure you get tackled. You saw it happen twice in the game Miami versus Ohio State. You saw him twice hit Malachi Tony, like the hardest hit you'd see, and the ball flying out. Now, granted, they didn't get the ball back like they should have because miraculously it ended up back in his hands, but he still laid the hit and didn't let Malachi Tony get past him very much at all. I want to say it wasn't until like in the second half, later in the game, that he finally broke loose, to be honest. But the reality for me is this. I think this guy can do it all. He can play special teams. He can be your strong safety. He can be your free safety. I think he does everything at a very high level. I'm not even going to say elite because people will argue it, whatever. I think it's subjective anyways. But for me, this guy is a can't miss kind of guy, to be honest. Go ahead, Mystic.
Oh, man, over here dying. People got me rolling in the comments.
Oh, man. Lewis is starting up. It's Blitz pickup comedy session here. I see what he's saying. Oh, man, that's funny. That's funny.
So I think where I'm at is, like I said earlier in the show, I feel like maybe we misused the label generational on the wrong player, but I think it's safe to say that he is going to be what you need him to be at the next level. I expect a good defensive-minded coach to be happy to get him. I mean, again, you have a chess piece you can put all over the field. You're not going to come and say, I'm not getting the guy and saying, oh, he's generational, he's this and that. No. I'm getting the guy saying, you're going to come in, I'm going to ask you to do 4 or 5 things. You're going to do those at a high level, and you're going to make my defense better from it. I think that's what Caleb Downs can be. I don't want to put anything more over than that. But again, if he's there and you need him, that's a sure thing.
Yeah. I definitely agree. And one thing a lot of people don't give him credit for, you're talking about a guy that played at a high elite level, right? Not just in the SEC, but he also did it in the Big Ten also, and there was no drop off. You know what I mean? Usually people will say, well, if you can do it at a high elite level in the SEC, you should be able to go and be, in the Big Ten, and it doesn't change at all. Or it does change. Some people think you might have a drop off at some point. For me, he did both at both teams what they played for. He did it at such a high level. There's no drop off, and I like that. He brings consistency, and it's not just his play on the field; it's also his leadership and the type of person that he is. He's not a type of guy that you'll have to worry about him playing games in the locker room and off the field. He's really a level-headed kid that just gets it done at a very high level, and he's been very, very successful at both. So for me, safest bet, can't miss kind of guy. I'll go with Caleb Downs, regardless of what the Nayers say in the chat. What is Tony saying about Pat McAfee? What does this say?
No, they're talking about the report. So I guess what CCRR
is talking about the fake
degenerative knee
post.
Yeah.
It is a fan post about the degenerative knee, which was found out to be fake.
Okay. All right. I was going to say, like, for me, it's this. I made the hot take here a couple episodes ago when that happened. Remember, I said, is this his own team putting this out, trying to set where he's going to go? You know what I mean? Because I didn't believe it. It came out of nowhere. It was just unbelievable. So So for me,
Well, if they're saying a report doesn't concern them, it's probably the fact that they're kindly saying, well, they're full of shit. But it
yeah,
is. Interpret it how you will.
yeah, I agree. I agree. Good. I like the pick, Steve. He definitely deserves to be there. He's the number one safety in this draft, in my opinion. So it's a for sure thing. You know what you're getting with him. Is the whole question of him being generational or elite? I don't have to worry about that. I know what I'm getting. The best damn safety in this draft, and he's going to be a hella good safety in the league. That's what you're getting.
100%.
He's not just the best safety, he's the best DB overall in this draft.
Yeah.
And yes, I do think he has a very good chance of being better than Eman was last year. Again, like a lot of us liked Eman. We talked about this in the spaces. Lewis was super high on Eman. I was super high on Eman. People were saying he had stiff hips and wasn't fluid. The dude overachieved even what the most of people who liked him thought he was going to do. Like, he well overachieved what anybody thought he could do in the league and turned out to be even better than all of us thought. But I do think Caleb Downs has the ability to have that effect, if not more, on games.
We'll see what happens. Mystic, you're last person. Who do you have?
So I kind of changed it up here a little bit, right? I got something interesting here.
Mm-hmm.
I got my can't miss project of the draft, all right? And you'll understand why I say that, because I think athletically, I think intangibles, it's all there. I just think that we don't need to ask this kid to come out, in my opinion. I wouldn't ask him to come out and say, I need you to be my starting quarterback right now. I would find a way to say, I need you to be my starting quarterback next year. And that's Taylor Green. I think Taylor Green is that project of this draft. If you find a way to get him, you put the time and the resources into the development of this young man, you'll have everything you need as a franchise quarterback again in the next 2 to 3 years.
Very interesting. Do you want to take a stab at that, Steve?
Yeah, I think his combine speaks for itself. The man broke every quarterback record there was during the combine. 6'6", runs like lightning, has a good arm, I think it was what, a 40, was it 43 and a half vertical too? 44 and a half, something like that. Like,
yeah, it's nuts.
He's a freak of nature. Like, in a good way.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, can you teach the quarterback? Like, he became a better passer over the last 2 years in college. He still needs more work. Like, he reads defense as well, but he's too quick to just say, screw it and run. Like, he's still got to develop his passer side. But if you can develop that passer side, there's a lot there to work with. And he's still young.
Yeah. I agree, but looking at him, he's 6'6", 225 poundish. He's one of the most physically gifted quarterbacks, specifically in the 2026 draft, known for his elite size, athleticism, dual threat ability. Like you said, he broke like pretty much every record at the combine. The guy's explosive, right? The guy is explosive, especially in an RPO or spread offense. I think he can be very, very explosive. It'll be very interesting. The only question I have of him being on this list, it's nothing against him. Don't get me wrong, I love Taylor Green. I really do. And I love the thought process of what you can do with a Taylor Green, not just for our team, but any team. My only question is, you said it yourself, he's kind of a project, if you say, kind of like what you were saying, and there's some coaching that has to be done, right? We got to kind of teach him the stuff that you can teach, and even though he has a lot of the other abilities already. Does does it really make him a can't miss guy? Is my question.
Well, I could have heard him wrong. Mystic, didn't you say can't miss project? That's why I was
Correct.
kind of that's why I was confused when you added them to begin with. Like, I get the point of what you were trying to add and make. Like, for a project, that is the project of projects. I don't know. I'm kind of Ollie. I don't know if that fits quite this
That's a good
idea we're
point.
going with.
I-
But I get the idea. I have one of those on my own list.
Look,
So
I'll
this
tell you what. Hold on, just real quick, Mystic, because this will you'll like this. I think this is a can't miss guy for a team that doesn't necessarily have a top 5 pick, but needs a quarterback, right? Because I think this guy honestly will be the better quarterback compared to a Ty Simpson, to give you an example, right? I think he's going to be a better quarterback than some of the other quarterbacks that are going to fall behind him, too. You know, there's only 3 quarterbacks in this draft. 2 of them we've already talked about, or, we've talked about before. Mendoza, obviously, the obvious number 1 pick. I think he's a can't miss kind of guy already. That's a given. Then you have Taylor Green, right? The next quarterback I like in this draft, to be honest, the only other guy I like is Drew Aller. And he's going to probably be a 3rd round pick. That's probably what he's
100%.
going to be. So for me, this guy, if you need a quarterback bad, right? And you're in the second half of this draft, I'm looking at Taylor Green. In fact, I know a team that needs a quarterback bad. Pittsburgh, don't they need a quarterback?
Yes.
Taylor Green. Just saying, he'll be there. You don't have to worry about trading up for him. I think it's a good pick. The other team I'd be kind of worried about grabbing Taylor Green. I have to find out where the Cardinals are in the draft, but they're another team that needs a quarterback. I know. I don't think are they in the top 10?
Yeah, they're down there.
Oh, okay. But yeah, we'll see.
But I don't foresee that. Like, as much as I liked Taylor through halfway through the season, he did started to peter off towards the back end of the year. He didn't finish as strong as he had started. And he had a few many turnovers than he needed to have, even though I do think his rushing made up for his passing.
Be right back, gentlemen. Keep going.
He never quite got where I thought he was going to be. I think he's going to be like a 3rd round pick, maybe 4th round pick, to somebody.
That's kind of where I was going with it, if you will, is if you look at, you find projects in the modern NFL, you usually see guys taking projects 6th, 7th round, right? The elite athleticism that you see from this guy, if you have the flexibility, you identify him in the 3rd, 4th round and say, yes, do I want a chance letting this go to the later rounds? Hell no, this is my guy. Boom, we nail him, That's how I looked at it. I'm not spending no 1st, 2nd round picks, nothing like that. I look at it as a 3rd, 4th round, identifying an elite athlete that, hey, again, I'm not playing him this year. So you get him. And Malik Willis has for Miami's case sake, we'll say Malik Willis has a really good year, and then you have a serious competition on your hands of a Taylor Green, Malik Willis in year 2 type thing, right? So you can find that with some other places. Another hot place to look, as you guys are talking, what about the Rams? Eventually Matt Stafford's going to retire, and why not have your guys sitting waiting ready? If a Taylor Green could fall to the Rams and sit behind Stafford and learn some things, oh my goodness.
Does Taylor Green seem like a McVay type quarterback?
That is a really good question.
I don't.
Because I would say Drew Aller fits them way more than Taylor Green does.
I could see that too, but I could also see Sean McVay's just so football smart and savvy that I think he looks for the best athletes to fit systems personally. Look, he had Jimmy sitting behind Stafford, and I think wasn't there a report that they were like intrigued with Trey Lance or something before he went to LA last year or something? Like, I think he's intrigued with the athletic side of quarterbacks, but I don't know. I just think it'd be interesting. Again, we talked about Taylor Green learning, right? You would need someone of that elite level, in my opinion, to sit behind to really teach him those things. So
See, I,
that's why
I
I
see
thought
them. I see them taking like a Nussmeier or
I could see that too.
a Drew
Absolutely.
Aller or like somebody of that style quarterback play. Because again, like I mean, this is golf. Since McVay's been there, it's been golf and Stafford, right? And then the backups have been like Teddy Bridgewater, um, Baker Mayfield, uh, Jimmy Garoppolo. Like, there's some of those guys are mobile, but not really. Like, I think he cares more about the passing side of quarterbacks than athleticism. I get your point, and I do think it could be a possibility. I'm not saying it's not a possibility, but I think they would shoot more towards the Nussmeyers, the Drew Allers, those more pocket style quarterbacks than Taylor Green, who's more of like the Lamar Jackson. Like I could see Baltimore if he's still sitting there in the third round, just taking a stab at him and bringing him in to be Lamar's backup and develop him in that system.
Yeah,
That
I
makes a
agree
lot
with
of
you.
sense.
It makes a lot of sense to me too. I agree. I think it'll be very interesting. I think the Taylor Green project, regardless of where he goes, it'll be very interesting because I was thinking about it. I mentioned Pittsburgh needing a quarterback. Um, but didn't they draft a quarterback last year? Tim Howard, or what's his name? Will Howard, or whatever his name is, Tim Howard? Am I wrong, or am I wrong about that? Can you guys hear me? Maybe not.
Yeah, I hear you. I couldn't remember, so I was looking it up real quick.
Howard, the quarterback out of Ohio State, used to play for Kansas State.
Yeah. I just couldn't remember
Mm.
if it was them who took him or
And I
not.
know he had to have surgery on his hand or something, and they didn't really get to see him very much. And besides, they had Aaron Rodgers, obviously. I want to see him take the next step over there. I want to see what he does. But if Taylor Green's there and they're on the board, does Pittsburgh pull the trigger? I don't know.
Yeah, they took him in the 6th round.
Yeah, I don't know if they'll pull the trigger. It'll be very interesting. We'll see. Definitely see what happens. Final honorable mentions, I would say, for me. I had an honorable mention that was on this list. And let me pull it up. I can tell you who it was. Come on. Here it was. Where is it? Casey Conception. Do you know who I'm talking about?
Yes.
Guy out of Texas A&M.
Yes, sir.
Yep, he was born in Charlotte, North Carolina, so North Carolina boy. His playing style stands just under 6 feet. Conception relies on agility, field vision, and strong hands rather than his size. His versatility allows him to contribute as a receiver, rusher, and returner. Analysts have praised his football IQ and consistently in clutch moments, traits that have elevated him among the best SEC wideouts. So this kid, I think, could be something special and very versatile. Could see him in several different roles. What do you guys think? Jack of all trades kind of guy.
It's so funny. It's
This guy. He's an honorable mention, though. He's an honorable mention for me.
I absolutely actually had him on my list. I brought up the project thing because I thought it was a hot take and I wanted us all to kind of talk about it. But I'm so intrigued by this KC guy, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. I think he's probably on my top 4, top 5 draft hopefuls. Not gonna lie to you. There's just something about the guy. You could just see how he holds himself, and you could tell that like when people kind of try to put the kid down, he uses it as fuel. He uses it as motivation. He's not an easy will to break type of guy from what I'm seeing, and I'm all for it, dude. I have a feeling he's going to be an absolute monster on the field on Sundays.
See, I kind of fall on the other side. I think he's a good player, and I think that's what he's going to be in the NFL. Just kind of a good player, the kind of guy that kind of gets like 600-700 yards a season, maybe 4 or 5 touchdowns, just a solid contributor to his team. I don't, I don't, I don't see the explosive player. It could just be me. You know, it is what it is. I do think he's a good player. I just don't know if he's going to be somebody's prize, you know, receiver.
I would agree with that. I don't think he's a true solid number one and not a player that you're going to build a team around, obviously. But I think he can be definitely a consistent, solid contributor to the point where he's going to be one of those guys that I think that what do they call him, a finisher in baseball or something like that, like a reliever. You bring him in, he finishes the game. You know,
The closer.
a closer. Yeah, that's what I think he can be in the NFL. As a fan aspect, I would say that he has potential of being a fantasy type of guy, due to the fact that he can be a wideout as well as versatile in rush as a rusher, even special teams. So as a fantasy outlook, it looks great. I just don't think he's going to be the true number one guy, right? He's going to guy that does the cleanup work after the number one guy and gets the job done. That's what I see.
He's going to be a slot guy, 100%.
Yeah, probably a slot guy. I agree with that for me. But I do like the fact of his abilities. It intrigues me, especially some of the things that I read about him and his versatility. That's why I wanted to talk about him and see what you guys thought. Receiver slash athletes, if you want to call it. It's a big topic right now amongst a lot of NFL teams and what they're doing. So I wanted to see what you guys thought. Do you guys have any other honorable mentions?
I do. Jacob Rodriguez, linebacker out of Texas Tech. I've watched the dude the whole time, from what playoffs to combine, and then you kind of will turn on some of the tape for the season. I feel like the more I look at the guy, I feel like he's gonna be one of those steel linebackers, which again I think kind of goes right into what we're talking about. You draft him, I don't think it's a miss.
I mean, I spoke in length about him when we did our player breakdowns of who to keep an eye on. Emmanuel McNeil Warren, the safety out of Toledo. Like you brought him up too. I believe he was your guy that you brought up, but I wanted to talk about Ali. Like, but I don't know how you miss on this kid. The length, the size, the way he plays, the mentality. I mean, this dude was asked about who's somebody you're looking forward to playing against, and he said he wanted to straight up hit Derrick Henry straight in the face. Like, that's the mentality of a kid you want to draft. I think he's as a can't miss. He was on my list, but he was borderline for me because I do wonder about his speed as a free safety. But if you're going to use him as a box safety, I think he's a can't miss. This kid is got the mentality, the physicality, and the will to make whatever on the field happens in his favor.
Yeah, I'll agree with that 100%. That's kind of why he wasn't on my list. Also, I kind of thought you would talk about him, so I kind of left him to you, to be 100% honest. But reality, for me, he's one of the hardest hitting safeties in this draft. I talked to Lewis and Tony in the spaces today, and the first question I asked them was, "What do you think of this kid? What do you think of McNeil Warren, and what do you think of him as a prospect?" Lewis didn't respond. I think he was doing something. But Tony said he has to watch tape on him. He hears a lot of people talking about him, but he needs to see how physical this guy is because he's all about the physicality. Well, I'm going to tell you right now, you don't have to worry about the physicality because this guy is one of the harder hitting, safeties in this draft, in my opinion. I don't want to
thrown out for targeting, Ollie. I
Yeah,
swear.
I think he was at one point. I think he was at one point.
He
You're right.
He like torpedoed right at a running back or something, and like went helmet to helmet and almost got thrown out for targeting.
Yeah, you know how some defenders they wait for the player to come to them and they do like this tackle where they kind of like bear hug them and just hold on so they can bring him down, right? He's not that type of a defender. He's the one that chases and attacks you. You're the one that has to run away, not him. He runs after you. He's the hunter, if you will, in my opinion. And one thing I just want to say about him: the last time the Miami Dolphins drafted a safety, I want to say it was in the 3rd round that they got one of the best, hardest hitting safeties in Miami Dolphin history. And correct me if I'm wrong, his name was Rashad Jones, right? You remember Rashad Jones? He was considered one of the best hitting safeties. This guy can hit that hard. That's what I'm telling you. I'm not going to say he's Rashad Jones 100% because Rashad Jones was really good, but this guy can hit that hard. That I will say for sure. So those are my thoughts. What do you think, Mystic?
I need to do more research on the y'all's boy from Toledo, but I keep hearing the same thing, and you guys just keep mirroring the things that I'm hearing, so it's just the same stuff. So I'm sure if I turn it on, I'll be like, "Oh, hey, look at this."
Yeah, man. I'm telling you, I like this kid. Some people are saying that he can go as high as the 2nd round. I don't know. I think he's going to be a late 2nd or early 3rd, but we'll see. Maybe all the talk will get him into the 1st round. You know, more power to him. But I just think he's something special, and wherever he goes, I think he's going to be good for sure. Well, I guess we're down to everybody's favorite segment, which is the Well, everybody, it was a great show. Got to talk about a lot of different prospects. Unfortunately for Mystic, who didn't have him on the list, and so did Steve, didn't have certain people on the list. They'll learn. They'll learn. People can't change the mind of everybody, but we'll see. Just kidding, gentlemen. I thought it was a great show. Great talking to you guys. Steve, what are your final thoughts?
I think the phrasing of can't miss can be taken in a lot of ways. Because I think certain players can be considered can't miss depending on where they fall in the draft, right? So, like I said before the show when we were talking, I initially had 3 guys that I considered can't miss prospects because for me to be can't miss, this is a guy I believe is a day 1 starter, and you have no question on if he's your long-term answer or not. Now, that's just my perspective on it, right? Like, it's just for me. That's when I think about a player that's a can't miss, that's what I envision. And there's not very many of those who leave so little doubt for me this year. So I added some guys that were close to making the list for me, which was Steinman and then obviously the honorable mention being McNeil Warren, who I really wanted to put on the list, but I have some questions. So I think there's some very good prospects, and this is going to be a very interesting draft once again.
Yeah, I agree with 100%. I think it's going to be a very interesting draft. And that's kind of why I didn't have Emmanuel McNeil Warren on my can't miss, because I think he can definitely be good. Is he a day 1 starter? I don't know. I don't know. If I really thought he was a day 1 starter, I would say for sure he's a number one draft pick, first round for sure. You know what I mean? But the fact that I have him more of a day 2 guy, that's why he wasn't on my list. But the guys I mentioned, like David Bradley, Peter Wood, those guys are definitely first round picks for me. And that's why I brought them up. So what do you think, Mystic? What are your final thoughts?
My final thoughts are kind of just more of the same. I'm very curious to see what teams throughout this draft process deem to be, their can't miss guys, right? I want to see if there's going to be any crazy moving for some of these guys. I really enjoy looking at these prospects and seeing kind of how athletic this draft really is. Kind of, you have some raw talent, but again, you have some guys who I think, day one starters are going to make a serious impact in the league. So again, just more of the same. You can just super happy to be a part of the process and continue to see where things go.
Definitely. Steve, you got any other thoughts?
Nope, I'm all thought out.
Well, Steve is all thought out, and that was our bottom line. Thank you, everyone, for showing up. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe if you're brand new, turn on the notification bell, tell your friends, come over to @4th and 10U. Please follow us. We're on the road to 100. We have over 60 some followers, trying to grow the community and start building up, and it's going to be very interesting. We have some exciting shows planned out. We'll be talking more about the spring games that are going to be happening over the next month or so. And including a lot more about this 2026 NFL draft. And we're going to have some more mock drafts coming up. We'll see what happens with that. And watch us live on draft night. We'll be live here on the 4th and 10U with Game Time Grind. So till the next time, we will see all of you later.